Hey, Jeff Schubert here, back with Film Nut, and wow, we have got a crazy show for you tonight, something a little different. I'll get to that in a minute. First, I want to talk about the usual business. We got a sponsor, scriptcopier.com. So if you instant message in questions, which is a big part of the show, we love for you to ask questions of the guests or myself. The person who asks the most interesting question is going to get 10 free scripts. So if you're a writer and you have a script and you want some copies of it made, 10 free copies. That would be what at Kinko's, Brian? About $100 maybe?
At least.
Yeah, so hey, think of a good question to ask.
At least that.
Yeah, the guests or myself tonight. Instant message it in either through AOL, Yahoo, or MSN to thestream.tv. You'll get your question answered and possibly win 10 free scripts. Now, tonight's show is really exciting because we love our writer-director guests, and in fact, we have another director tonight, but we also have a special effects makeup guest. In case you haven't noticed, the set behind me is a little different this evening, and he's going to get into a little bit of what he does on special effects and makeups, and a big part of this show is the nuts and bolts of filmmaking. What goes on sets, what goes on with some of the other crew positions that you might not be so familiar with, and what it takes to get a film done and done well and right. So with that in mind, my first of two guests this evening is Lisa Hammer. She is described, thank you very much for her. She is described as the little darling of New York's nouveau noir underground filmmaking scene, part Wicked Witch of the West, part mad slasher when it comes to her startling and utterly warped brand of Hansel and Gretel on acid filmmaking style. So with that as a setup, let's take a look at a clip from her film, Pox.
Photar Muggins, our groundskeeper and gravedigger.
Oh, hi, Photar.
Everyone, Lisa Hammer.
Hello.
Mike.
Yes.
I've got a gift for you.
A gift?
Yes. It's a lunchbox, and it says, "Happy Fruits is very delicious. I will eat this and will become fortunate altogether," by Putrafresh.
Oh, wow. Thank you. This is my first gift from a guest.
You should have many gifts.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, you're a gift being on the show. We appreciate you being
thank
here.
you.
So, Hansel and Gretel on acid.
I've never taken acid.
Okay.
I don't think I ever will.
Okay, good.
And I feel like my films are very wholesome. I'm not joking. I feel like they're regular fairy tales, and apparently they're twisted. But I do use a lot of dream imagery from my own dreams, and I mix it in with the fairy tales, like Grimm's fairy tales.
Very nice.
So.
Now, what was your first filmmaking experience?
After film school or during film school?
Oh, let's say after film school.
After film school, I made a feature film called Puss Bucket.
And that was
from the Broadway musical. That was a black and white Super 8 feature film. It was also a musical, and it was a slasher, slasher
family
film.
Type film. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, and what position were you on that? What did you do for that?
I directed it. I wrote it. I produced it.
Oh, very nice.
Made some cameos. It's a very anti-Catholic, anti-Christian film. Unfortunately for the Christians, I'm sorry. It's just what we were doing.
Sure, that's what you were doing at the time. Now, as a first-time director, what did you learn? What problems arose on the set? What went right for you? What went wrong?
It was 100% right. I loved it.
Oh,
my favorite thing is to have the camera, have a small crew. I run the camera, and I just shoot what I'm inspired to shoot as I see it. And we sort of shot the film over 5 years as we could afford the Super 8 film. And I had a wonderful Super 8 camera. Right. I could do in-camera dissolves and all kinds of tricks. And I really had 100% fun. I let the actors improv as much as possible. And you have to be secure enough with yourself to let the actors do improv, because that's the gold.
Right.
It's not just the words that you write, but it's what they bring.
Sure.
So.
And I guess you had the ability to take your time. You were shooting it over 5 years. You weren't rushed, so that kind of made that possible too. Huh?
It was really fun because it was an anti-continuity film. So what we did was I encouraged the actors to grow their hair, cut their hair, shave, grow the beard, shave it in strange ways, and just completely, fat, skinny, the whole thing.
Very
it was
nice.
fun.
Well, good. Well, we have an instant message in here from Psych, he wants to say, hi, sorry, all my contacts are gone. Thought I'd stay up to watch this decapitation. How could I miss that? Yeah, Skype, from what I understand, he's in what, Australia?
England, or Britain.
England, yeah, so it's pretty late where he's at. Yeah, well, yeah, for those of you who don't know, someone on the set might be losing their head this evening, ergo the decapitation. So, yeah, we thank you for tuning in. Did you go to film school? If so, where?
Yes, I went to Emerson College and the School of Museum of Fine Arts, which I hear David Lynch attended as well.
Okay.
The problem with Emerson College in the 80s, it had a pretty good film department, but they were so underfunded that I had to cross-register at an art school to be able to use the video editing. So if you want to shoot on film, in order to use the video editing at Emerson, you had to be a TV minor, which required 2 more years. It's a total ripoff. Not a big fan of that school.
So and by the way, who did that question come from? I already see it's gone from the screen. I'm sorry, I didn't say who it was from. So what were 2 or 3 of the most important things you learned at film school that practically helped you on set in making films?
Ignore the critics, ignore what people tell you you can't do, because you can do anything you want to do. And I was told by a few of my teachers that because I was a woman, I would end up doing craft services or art department.
Wow, it's terrible. When did you go to film school, in 1920?
Yeah, Mary Pickford was my classmate. No, it was Emerson College, and there were, I guess, a couple disgruntled teachers. But I had some great teachers as well. I'm not saying that they were all bad. There was a lot of really good teachers. There were a few in particular that believed in me.
What was that?
This is a mistake.
Okay. If our audience heard that, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I was from Emerson College.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of a haunted evening, so.
No, honestly, I feel like you don't ever listen to anyone who tells you you can't get anything done. Just do it.
Okay.
And that's what I did. I plowed through it and did it.
Okay. Now tell me a little bit more about Pox. What's going on with that now?
Pox actually it's a documentation of an actual cult. There's a cult called the Church of Pox. They have a website online, Church of Pox. I think it's just called Church of Pox.
Let's not promote any cults on the show.
Well, I call it a cult.
I'm kidding.
They don't call themselves a cult. It's a church. But it's around this this really charismatic. I guess they think he's a messiah. His name is Pox. And basically this is just an experience, a documentation of the things, almost like a documentation of what happened with the religion in a way that the greatest story ever told sort of documents in a dramatic way this story, biblical stories.
Okay.
So
now, as a filmmaker, what did you do differently on Pox than, say, the first project you were just telling me about?
I took my hands off the camera and trusted somebody else, and I'm very happy. He did a very good job. I had a great crew. I actually took myself more out of the technical side of it and stayed in the creative end. So unfortunately, if you have technical questions about the camera, I can't really answer those, but I can tell you what inspired me, what I wanted it to look like. But it was the first time I've ever used a camera crew, like a crew, instead of shooting it myself, and it was really scary to let go of the reins.
Well, what did you want it to look like?
I am a big fan of the Technicolor movies, like the Roger Cormans and the Hammer films, obviously, from the 60s and the 70s, like the Dracula movies and the Satan movies. And so when this group caught my eye, I thought it would be a great idea to put a dramatic twist on what they're doing, the work that they're doing, and their beliefs.
Okay. Let's take a look at another I Am from Stuart. Okay, that'll also kind of give away who he is. But perhaps you don't really do a very descriptive screen name there, Stuart. Looks like a Blanken mummy. Stuart, this is the clean show here. Blanken mummy is on the set. Looks like Eddie from the Iron Maiden behind Jeff.
Is that me? You think I look like a mummy?
Yeah, that's all right. He's rude to his own guests, too, so he can get away with that. Stuart Papp, ladies and gentlemen, the host of Live from the Future. Yeah, so you were very happy. You turned power over to your crew. Was there anything you would have done different if you were still holding the camera?
It's hard to say what you could have done. I storyboarded a lot, and I told the cinematographer and my producer exactly what I wanted, and they delivered right on the money.
So you storyboard. How helpful were the storyboards for you?
They were great.
Okay.
Yeah, but we also had a monitor so I could watch what was happening and tweak it from my position. It was really strange to not be touching the camera and sort of just be sitting in a chair looking at a monitor. Right. I felt like lazy.
Now, was there any point in the movie, though, where you were saying to yourself, if I was holding the camera, I'd do this or that?
Oh, sure. I mean, I could go through it point by point. If you want to, someday we could sit down and I'll show you. Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm obviously going to want to, do my own camera work again.
Damien!
He lost his head.
Did you get your wish, Brian? Were we in a two-shot? Oh, man.
I was on her close-up.
Oh, bummer. Well, for those of you who were paying attention, a second ago there was a head on this torso behind me. We're going to try to fix it. Skype, you saw your decapitation a little earlier than we planned, and it was kind of self-inflicted as opposed to machete-inflicted. But that's okay. Rich Knight will be on in a few minutes, is having a good time with it in the green room. I can see him through this clear window. Why don't we go ahead and show another clip from Pox?
You know, I just want to say I'm horribly upset about that because I was dealing with an IM, and I really was looking at it to make sure if it was going to go, I'd go to the wide, but I missed it. I'm sorry, folks.
Yeah, Brian's a kook in his own right. He's like the executive producer, founder of the Stream.TV, Film Nut, and he's like, before the show, yeah, I hope the thing falls off in the middle of the sequence.
Well, you know,
I'm rooting for it not to work.
I was like, if it's gonna happen during the show when it's not supposed to, I at least wanted to catch it.
Oh, okay, that's a fair point.
But I missed it. I missed it.
So do we have another clip from Pox ready?
Yes.
Okay,
let's go
great.
for it. Stand by.
What does the plus sign mean?
Nah, they're all different. I think it means yes. Is there a plus?
No?
God damn it! Missy!
Do you know what an honor it is to meet your Lord and Savior?
Ladies and gentlemen, Damien. Now, you had one woman in there looked like a young kind of Roseanne. You know who I'm talking about?
Yes, that's Vunka. She's one of the cult members. Actually, very talented woman, and she's really good at what she does.
That's not good.
Wow, that looks like chocolate cake.
It does. So what was going on in the clip we just saw?
Okay, that was part of the ritual.
Okay.
That they're trying to create the Antichrist child. It's sort of a Crowley kind of thing. Jack Parsons, what they were trying to do is sort of bust through to the netherworld and bring forth the goddess Thelma to sort of mate with and create the Antichrist child.
All right.
This cult actually uses a lesser-known goddess, Selma.
Okay.
And they have a virgin that they try to impregnate.
So when you say lesser known, she doesn't have as big a following? Is that
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So
Well, yeah, I mean, Thelma is a little bit too popular. So you know how it is when everybody likes something and
Sure.
you sort of like purposely stay away from it
Right.
because it's too popular.
Right.
I think that's sort of what they were doing. So
Okay.
sort of take the roundabout way.
Now, here we have a situation where tonight we wanted to do a decapitation, right? And we're having a little technical glitch. Now, was anything like this happen on your film set with these types of things?
Actually, no. Rich Knight was amazing on the set. It went perfectly, actually. I'm not lying.
Okay.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
No, it was great. It was amazing. He had a very small crew, and he was there. He had
Right.
all the work was ready to go. He's an amazing artist. You
Well,
know.
good.
Yeah.
Well, we can pump him up when he comes on. Let's
okay.
get back to you. I think we have another short clip that we want to show.
Wonderful.
Right? Okay, let's take a look at that one.
Uno momento.
Uno momento. So, Rich, you're actually not sneaking and fooling anyone right now. Everyone can see you.
Everything in my life has led up to this moment, right here, right now, with you. And everything you said to me on the TV directed me to this place to find you. And this sucks.
We have daggers in our corners! We have daggers in our corners! We have daggers in our corners!
Yeah.
Nice.
Very nice. Now we have a cool instant message question. I actually want to get right to it. From J. Tom from New York. He says that her films are so dark. What events occurred in her life to make her want to go to the dark side?
I don't feel like they're dark.
That's right. You think they're
don't.
like cheery, right?
I do. I'm really serious. I really do. Like, this feels to me kind of Disney-esque.
Okay.
It's just fun.
Right.
I like to make people go, ew. It could be. When I was
In
a
Lord
child...
Kaufman's universe,
Maybe.
Disney, right?
Yeah. But when I was a child, I was shipwrecked.
Okay.
For real. So
Really?
it could be that.
Wow.
And I was also born in Salem, Massachusetts. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So Halloween was a big thing for me. I don't know.
Shipwrecked, like Gilligan's Island kind of shipwreck?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah. So. That might have been part of it.
Okay.
But I think the most fun part of living in Salem when you're a kid is it's Halloween all the time,
Right.
and Halloween is like Mardi Gras.
Okay.
But people are always trying to scare each other and spook each other out, and so there's ghost stories all the time, and I grew up around ghost stories and all kinds of humor, and also my parents got me into Monty Python early and stuff like that, and so
Well, great.
that's kind of dark.
So with Pox, what's going on with it? How can people follow it and find out more about it?
I am still in post-production.
Okay.
But if you go to churchofpox.org, you can find out about the actual church.
Okay.
If you want to find out about the documentation that I did, the film, you can look me up on MySpace, Blessed Elysium.
MySpace.com /
Just go to lisahammer.com.
Okay, there you go. That's much easier and simple. Okay,
Yeah, there are
well,
clips and things there.
what we're going to do now is we're going to show, I think, the trailer for the movie Pox.
I forget.
Okay, Brian, that's what we got coming up next in terms of clip.
This is kind of demonstrating our next guest. It's our little transitional.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's not a trailer, but it is another clip from Pox,
Yes.
which our second guest, Rich Knight, the makeup and effects artist, will be coming on, and we'll talk to him, and
Very
we'll say
exciting.
goodbye to you for now.
Okay.
And before we say goodbye, we'll watch this clip, and actually, no, we'll say goodbye. We'll watch the clip. You'll be gone. Rich will be here.
Okay.
Sound like a plan?
Sounds good.
Thanks for coming on, Lisa.
Thank you.
Oh, semantics.
That's right. Right there, Dad. Get him. Come with me. You're safe now.
Okay, for those of you wondering, those were a pair of testicles you saw during the last clip, but they weren't human, I promise.
They were actually what we call FX-ticles.
Okay, there you go. Richard Knight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming on tonight.
It's my pleasure.
We got Damien under control now?
Well, we'll see. We'll find out. Ordinarily, I work out all these bugs, but this is my first time doing anything live.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, we didn't. In fairness, we did not give him a lot of time. We were prepping for something else. He came
no,
in.
I had like hours before. I had hours. I was sitting here in the parking
He did
lot.
have hours.
Okay, everyone make the host look like a liar. Try to cover for someone. That's what happens.
No, we appreciate you trying to cover for him, but I think it was the fact that it was sitting there for so long.
Right.
Like we did too much prep work, and for that reason, then it finally was like it dropped off a few times before we started.
If we have any luck at all, it'll fall off again halfway between, and you'll catch it this time. So.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, that's right.
I'm
He's
keeping
staying
an
in
eye
the
on
true
it this
shot. He's
time.
not leaving
I'm
this shot
keeping an
now.
eye on it.
Yeah. So yeah, in fact, Damien was appearing in the last clip, right?
Actually, very briefly,
Very
if you watch
briefly.
real close, you can actually see Damien. Actually, his name is Damon, I think.
Oh, Damon.
You can see him get
The whole
his
horror
head,
thing. I'm in that mode, Damien.
Yeah, well, it's appropriate. I actually worked on the Omen remake.
Oh, fantastic.
So,
what
has
was
nothing to do
going?
with this.
What was going on in the clip that we saw with him just now?
Well, it was crazy. It was a satanic cult having some kind of ritual sacrifice, and then they got busted in by the local villagers who evidently have a thing for cutting off vampire effectsicles.
And what was the setup time to get him ready?
Oh, well, generally an effects like this is pretty quick. It's designed to come off automatically when you swing a weapon or what have you. Ordinarily about maybe 5 minutes setup time.
Oh, wow.
You do the shoot. If it works, great. If it doesn't, you reset
Okay.
and redress it for another take.
Okay, and for like a low-budget filmmaker who might be watching, what's the expense and budget for a movie like Pox when it comes to these types of?
Well, it all varies. I get asked that question a lot. I mean, how much does it cost for this? How much does it cost for that? You got to keep in mind that it's custom work. If anything that you're having designed from scratch, if you're taking a drawing of something or an image that's created on a computer and you're bringing it into the real world, you're not just pulling a rubber nose out of a box like a lot of people might think. You're actually creating something that didn't exist before. So it's all relative. It can be something as cheap as $500 for something, I'm thinking small.
Right.
Or it could be as much as millions of dollars. It all depends. I mean, you can't make T-Rexes, of course,
Sure.
like the things you saw in Jurassic Park
Sure,
for pennies on
sure,
the dollar.
sure.
But something like this, for instance, this is a little more affordable. You'll see a lot more head decaps and stuff like that in independent films. You can get something like this for about anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000,
Right.
something like that.
Okay.
So
Now you brought some special clips of your work that you're
I
going
did.
that you're going to talk
I
us
did.
through and explain kind of how you did it, maybe how a indie filmmaker can do it as well. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay, why don't we get started and roll one of those?
absolutely. Okay, this is from the film The Tripping Fall. It's a independent film about a psychedelic journey. This guy is actually dosed by a buddy of his with acid as he's trying to leave for New York.
Is that makeup or a mask or both?
Well, this is me actually. I'm acting as
Oh,
the
wow.
transient. This is in the scene in the film. The actor is so dosed up, he's having a delusional dream, and I am appearing as the bum who sneaks into his apartment while he's left and going through his refrigerator.
Okay, and again, was that a mask or makeup?
That was actually makeup. That was, excuse me, a foam latex prosthetic.
A foam
so
latex
I actually
prosthetic.
had an appliance glued onto my face. It was
Right.
custom fit to fit my face.
Right.
And I had seamed all the edge lines around my eyes, nose, the whole thing. And of course, the beard was a lace ventilated piece. Just an example of how you would create a character.
So you let the actors breathe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
okay.
You can articulate, you can speak,
Sure.
you can move, and that's the great thing about
Right.
an appliance versus a mask or something like that.
Sure.
Because you know it's not static.
Right.
You can manipulate it and move it, and you can see the muscles articulate.
Now, and what's the setup time on something like that?
Oh, it varies. That particular makeup took me about 2 hours. I'd say an average is about 2 hours for
Right.
something like that, but it can take as long as, say, 9 hours. It
Right.
depends on how elaborate it is.
Right, right.
You know, how many seams you have to have, how much hiding you have to do. It all depends. How much painting on set. It's a lot of work.
Well, what is the most elaborate setup and makeup effects you had to do?
Probably the most elaborate thing I've done on my own was for a film called Frankenstein versus the Creature from Blood Cove, where I created a full-body creature suit. We had a full body, hands, gloves, feet, a mask. He was able to articulate his mouth, open and close, blink his eyes, all that stuff. That was the most I've ever done on my own. And other than that, I mean, I've done all sorts of stuff. For other productions, for instance, I worked on NCIS. We did a lot of silicone bodies and things like that. So they were a little on a bigger scale.
Sure.
But for an independent film, I'd say Frankenstein was probably
Okay.
one of the bigger ones for the scale of work that we had.
Now, location-wise, tell me about, let's say, maybe your favorite location that you worked in for this type of movie, and maybe what was the most difficult or challenging.
My favorite location. Well, I haven't filmed in Hawaii yet. Actually, I think my favorite location that I shot on was we shot in my hometown in Menifee, and I say it was my favorite because it was the set was right around the corner, so it made it very very convenient for
Right.
me. It was almost with a walking distance, which
Right.
is if you can imagine, I drive a lot
Sure.
because I live in Riverside County.
Sure.
Outside of LA, so I'm spending a lot of time in traffic and commuting.
Okay.
So that was probably the dream location for
What
me.
about the worst one? I think this is
The worst place I ever had? I once was in a director's home, and I was doing the makeup on the film, and he put me in his kids' room,
Right.
the playroom,
Right.
which had, I mean, the thing was covered with toys and action figures and dolls, and it was so busy with clutter. It was very, very difficult to get anything done. I'd say it probably took twice as long to do all the work because of it.
right.
And I don't know which was worse, all the clutter or just the fact that you dropped something and you never could find it.
Right.
Don't drop your brush.
No, don't.
But,
So, in terms of equipment that you work with, then, what would you say is the most valuable piece of equipment to you in you doing your job?
My most valuable, I'm wearing them, and that's my hands.
Okay.
My most valuable piece of equipment is my hands. Without them, I can't create, I can't draw, I can't sculpt, I can't paint. A lot of people probably take it for granted, but these things, they're magical tools.
Right. What about life casts?
Oh well, yeah, the life cast is definitely something over a lot of other actors. I have life casts of my whole face, my whole head, my arms, my hands. This becomes a very good tool for me in getting work because a lot of times the character will need makeup, and I can offer to the production company a lot of the pre-production work already done and paid for. I already have the molds of my face. I already have the molds of my hand, my body, etc. Therefore, that saves us weeks of prep time and hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars in pre-production. Something I'm also trying to do is get together actors like Damon here, who I also have live cast for, and get a pool of actors so that we can help out independent films. I mean, independent films can be really good. That's where the art is. You know, it's not this bubblegum garbage that they're just peddling out to Blockbuster Video. Independent film is where the art is, but it's not where the money is. And by doing things like this, we're able to do more elaborate special effects. For instance, Lisa's movie, Pox, we were able to get some makeup effects that held up to something you'd see from any major motion picture. I mean, sure, it's dumbed down a little bit, but...
Well, hey, let's see another one of those clips and have you talk us through.
Absolutely.
And check it out.
Let's see what we got here. Okay, this is a scene from the show Welfare Bunnies. I'm playing the character McIntyre. He's the goofball in the glasses there. A lot of people would be surprised, but that is me in makeup.
I think you were better looking in the other clip, actually.
Well, that's, I don't know. Mac is quite the ladies' man.
He is.
Welfare Bunnies is a fun project. It is about three bachelors that get cursed by a woman and turned into living human bunny rabbits. So yeah, definitely check it out. www.welfarebunnies.com. It's live on YouTube right now. We're just getting the clips out there. This is all going to be podcast
now,
stuff.
Is that your? I'm looking at you now, and I'm thinking that's not your natural nose I'm looking at on the screen.
Thank God, no.
So, and that's just a simple little add-on makeup-y thing.
Yeah, I kind of modeled the character of Mac. He's kind of a Woody Allen meets Edith Bunker.
On steroids, maybe?
Yeah, I think he needs steroids, actually. He's a neurotic freak. He sweats a lot, and he's got an obsession with this girl who, throughout the series, he basically stalks and creeps out.
Well, J-Tom has another good question. I think he's bucking for the 10 free scripts tonight there, Brian. He wants to know, how does someone get into the movie special effects business? Good question.
That's a very good question. I get asked that a lot. The first thing you want to do is you want to ask yourself, do I take this seriously? Is this something that I want to pursue? Because on the get-go, there's not a whole lot of money out there. It takes a long time, a lot of hard work, and it's an expensive hobby. It's a rich man's hobby. So you really want to ask yourself, do I want to do this? And ask yourself why. And once you've answered those questions, get out there, get on the internet, find out how to do it. Forget about the makeup schools. Get yourself a video. Get yourself a book. Actually go out there and see what you can learn from that.
Is there a particular book that you recommend?
Gosh, I'd say just Google search it. I like the Tom Savini books that are out there, the Grand Illusion books. They're fun just as a fan. But there's some good Vincent Kehoe books out there. Just Google search anything special effects makeup. There's nothing that you can't learn on the internet that they teach you in a school.
And watch films where Richard Knight was involved?
Yes, definitely watch my movies, for sure.
So, can you think of a really memorable experience on set?
Oh, gosh, there's a lot of memorable experiences. I think the most memorable thing that comes to mind is
there something on Darwin?
Yeah, Darwin, California. I did this, it's a dramatic film called Escape from Darwin. And we shot out in Darwin, California, which is this old abandoned ghost town. And the place is it's a fantastic, beautiful ghost town of a place. They shot California with Brad Pitt and David Duchovny out there. And it's just beautiful for a cinematographer, but there's something spiritual about it too. You know, you get out there in the wilderness, away from civilization. You look up and you see the stars, you see the sky. Unlike here, what we see in the city, but a lot of what I would say spiritual things happened. We built a chapel out there, and we had a bunch of candles that those Jesus candles you buy at the grocery store or whatever, and we lit a whole bunch of them. And in Darwin, there's never been a church there. Ever, as far as I know. I guess the Mormons come and bug the locals out there, the population of 40 or whatever, and try to get them to convert. But they chase them out. So it was the funny thing. We built this chapel, first church that was ever there, and had all the candles placed in there to make it look like a church. And funny thing was, the next morning, we get back there, and of course we put the candles out. Of course, it's, you know, they go up. That whole town could go up.
That's right.
We didn't have that good of insurance. No, so
hey, you had insurance. A lot of films don't, right?
Anyway, though, so we go there the next day, and the candle that is the hand of God is still lit. So we don't know if it's a miracle or if one of the village or locals was messing with us, which is probably likely. But it was just it solidified the spiritual essence that was out there.
Right.
We're doing some reshoots soon. I'm looking forward to going back up there again.
Oh wow,
it's
that is
very
kind
spiritual.
of eerie
scene.
on that kind
Isn't
of
it?
film for something like that to
I've
happen
worked
that
on
way.
all these horror films, and that's probably the most interesting thing that's actually happened.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. Actually, I'm not going to take credit. It's another J-Tom question.
Okay.
What would your dream special effects job be?
My dream special effects job. Anything that would involve building something big, like dinosaurs or dragons or something with puppetry and animatronics.
Right.
Lots of work. Something that I can employ a lot of my friends.
Right.
And,
That's very nice.
Well, yeah, you know, you make a lot of friends in my line of work, and then, you know, you hardly ever see them after the show ends. You know, you go your separate ways, and then, you know, you'll be working, you'll hear the name come up, oh, yeah, so-and-so, yeah, I haven't seen him for years.
Right.
Because we're always working.
Right, yeah.
And, you know, unless you're working on a show, you don't get a chance to see those good friends.
Okay, now when it comes to filmmaking expressions, terminology, sayings, which one is your favorite?
Oh, without a doubt, MOS.
MOS. There's a lot of confusion in the filmmaking business about what exactly MOS means.
Well, from what I understand, the term originates from early Hollywood. MOS, the German directors at the time said, without sound. Without sound. They meant without sound, but they said it with an M, so... I don't know if that's true, but I love that voice. Without sound. I love that.
It's a good story, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't really familiar with it these days. It seems like a lot of
You were saying
old
before we
school-
came on, actually,
Yeah.
that you were working with some students who were
Some students. I said, MOS, are we shooting MOS? And they're like, what are you talking about? What are you smoking?
Yeah.
No, it's
And not that you
just
weren't,
old Hollywood.
but... Not,
that's another movie.
That's another movie.
movie.
Do we have any more clips? I think we have one more.
I believe
before
so.
we get to the decap.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
Sweet.
Let's hear you talk us through this one.
Okay, this is another clip of Welfare Bunnies here. This is our main characters, Stu right here, the gray bunny, and Cahill, he's our leading man. What can I say about Welfare Bunnies? It's a comedy. It's really fun, silly humor. It's kind of geared towards family humor, I guess.
And the bunnies' heads, those are just what kind of masks they slip on, or?
Oh no, that's actually makeup. We
wow, okay.
Each actor took about 2 hours to put into makeup. Okay. We have an appliance that we put onto their face, and of course the bunny tooth. We hand glued all that fur over them, and underneath they actually have a fiberglass skull that has mechanics for the ears, so they can articulate the ears as well. Yeah, a lot of work and effort and love went into that project, and it's just now coming out, so we're really excited about it.
Check it out if you guys get a chance. Now we've got
Yes,
one more
WelfareBunnies.com.
One more I am question before we get to Damon, and it's a good one. It could be a challenge to some of J-Tom's questions for our 10 free scripts from scriptcopier.com. It is from Ush Shaz. Okay, disappeared. Okay.
Shaz. You just call him Shaz.
Just call him Shaz.
Shaz.
Apparently he's a regular of the stream.tv, and he wants to know, what is your favorite feature film that uses really cheesy special effects?
Well, have you been watching the clips? God, that's hard. I think one of my favorite cheesy makeup artist has got to be Tom Savini. In the industry, he's probably not known as the greatest or the best effects artist technically, but he's certainly the most well known. And I love the gags. It's so simplistic yet effective. He's more of a magician, an illusionist than an effects artist or a makeup artist.
Is there a particular film that you recommend him?
Of Tom Savini's, God, all of Friday the 13th flicks.
Okay, there you go.
For sure. Or Creepshow, actually. That's definitely a good one to get.
Great. Well, I'm going to stand up here, and we're going to get started. You're going to walk and talk us through a decapitation,
this
right?
is going to be Head Decap 101.
You can put your mic down now.
Oh, okay. Now, what I'm going to have you do, we're just going to demonstrate how we would do a low-tech, low-budget head decapitation.
Okay.
And if you would, I'm going to have you do the honors.
Me?
You've handled one of these. This is
wow.
your
That's pretty big.
Basic standard issue machete. Now this is real.
Can I cut a frozen bagel with this?
Probably not. It's pretty dull.
Okay.
It'd be pretty fun watching you do it, though.
Okay.
Watching you try.
So, wow, what am I going to do now?
Well, you're going to wait for me to put on these gloves.
Okay.
And this is the internet. What I'm going to have you do is I'm going to get into position here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to duck down here. And ordinarily, what we would do is we would have the camera framed in such a way so that, it's about 3/4 of the frame. So you're going to see your image. Exactly, yeah. Right about there. And what I'm going to have you do is you're going to be our villain who's cutting poor Damon's head off.
Okay.
And me, I'm going to just be the effects guy that's going to get blood all over him. So what we have is we've got pre-made tubes that are all lined up, ready to go, and blood pumps so that when you swing it, you just swing through and cut his head off.
Now, do I swing like
and
really
I'm
hard?
going to do all the rest.
Am I like Barry Bonds trying to hit a home run?
Very, not a home run, no. Just kind of, you want to aim for right about there and just kind of follow.
Soft?
Yeah,
Okay.
follow all the ways through.
Follow through.
Follow through. Just.
So like it would look real if it was in a movie?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And I think this thing just wants to come off, as our viewers have already seen.
Now,
so.
what's my motivation? See a demon? No, I'm just kidding.
Your motivation is that you actually want to cut my head off, but since you can't...
Now, am I going to get like all bloody?
Well, we can hope.
Okay, I'm gonna take this off.
No.
No?
I don't think so. I don't think so. You might get a little spatter. We're going to get some blood flow. It's going to go right towards here. We've kind of done the tests on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to count to 3.
Okay.
Just like we would do this on a set. And when I count to 3, go ahead and cut.
Go ahead and cut. Okay.
Yeah. And 1, 2, 3. Chop, chop.
Yeah. Come on, get Peter. Get Peter. Get the camera. Get Peter. Yeah. My first decapitation. I've never been in a horror movie. I like that. Yeah.
Can you pan
this is what you got to ask yourself. Do you really want to get into this business? Because this is what we do.
I could hear it more than see it.
We play with blood. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it, you know?
You look like you're ready to party now.
I am ready to party.
You look good.
I am ready to party. Thank you very much.
We have Brian Cohn, the host of Bloodstream, in the other room. Yeah, there he is. What do you think? Get the camera back on Brian. Thumbs up? Was that good? Okay, cool. All right. We got the Bloodstream host approval on that shot.
Awesome.
And if you're watching the show, stick around and watch Bloodstream. It's on, an hour after we're done?
About an hour. And the lead singer of Sothis will be in here. Hey, Peter, can you pan
Oh,
down?
cool.
Maybe show some blood somewhere? More blood. Did any blood get on the window?
No.
Not this time, no. But
right.
we've got a nice little pool of blood there.
That is cool.
Can you get close up to the neck?
It's raining blood.
Sweet.
And to give the viewers a little idea what we're doing, we just have some sprayers in here. I'm going to poke it through. Oh.
Oh, there we go. I escaped until just now.
Peter,
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah, I got all over Peter.
He's wearing white pants.
Oh, yeah, I'm wearing beige. These will go in the Hall of Fame someday.
Excellent.
Nice.
Excellent.
Okay.
So look at that shirt, too. Can you pan down a little bit? I mean, that looks like real blood on that shirt.
Oh, yeah.
That looks great.
Oh, yeah. This is my own formulation of Caro syrup blood and food coloring. And it's specially designed so it actually will wash out.
Cool. It will wash out. All right.
Wash out.
I won't have to throw this out.
If the kids at home want to go make some of that, what do they got to go get?
To make Caro syrup blood, it's just Caro syrup, blood, and water. There's plenty of recipes you can find online for it, or you can just kind of get your hands dirty and play around with it.
So would you Google how to cut off someone's head and have
if you
fake
go
blood
and
come
you
out
Google search blood recipe,
you'll
probably come up with a dozen different ones. If you can't find it, send me an email. I'll send you the recipe myself.
We got an IM for you here, Jeff.
Oh, great. Here we go from Donice. You swing. Hey. Like a girl. I had the mic in one hand, and I had to do like a little reverse chop, so, it wasn't my best effort.
The IM was you swing like a girl.
I read it.
Swing a little bit like a girl.
I didn't back off. Well, hey, look, that is all the time we have for this evening. Want to thank my guests, Rich Knight. Can I shake his hand? Yeah, it'll come off.
Yes, absolutely. It'll come out.
And Lisa Hammer, who's still with us in the waiting room. Peter Basler doing the little studio cam tonight, one of our producers, Brian Grimeau. I'm Jeff Schubert. We'll see you next Wednesday, and don't forget to stick around. About another hour from now, we got The Bloodstream coming up live with some great guests, horror-themed show, and I think you'll like it, especially if you like this show. So we will see you next week, 8 p.m. Pacific on the stream.tv. Film Nut, me, Jeff Schubert, out.
Nice. Great work, man. Great work. Oh, dear.